Hello, that's right. It is, of course, Nick Dutch back again, and I'm sitting here sweltering in the desert heat of the South Midlands of England. I never thought I would use those words in that combination ever under any circumstances, but it's very appropriate considering the heat wave we're currently going through. Apparently, hundreds of people are dying, and there was. This makes me laugh. There were wildfires in East London. Obviously it's tragic, but like wildfires and East London, oh God, you've really got to be English to understand why that is so humorous. Anyway, back to what I normally do, which is to answer somebody's question here on YouTube. This guy says, should I be aware of my studies or practices? This person's talking about experimenting with occultism, getting involved in chaos magic, that sort of thing. He says, I've only studied Wicca before and have been a part of this religion for only 3 months. However, I feel a need to study more and more as I've always had an interest in demonology. I just don't want to be plagued by an entity I can't get rid of. Okay, well, the first thing I would say is exercise caution doing what you're doing. Not because you're doing what you're doing, but because you'll probably be listening to people. Okay, when you enter into a culture such as Wicca or Christianity or any culture whatsoever, especially if it's a religious culture where there's some groups of people who would want to use what some people would call a hard truth claim, or have some very hard dogmatic beliefs about the way the universe works, then something can be started up which is called the mentor to mentee relationship. Someone may try and take you under their wing and try and fill you with their ideas or their understandings of how everything works, because they will consider you to be someone who is new, a bit green, and therefore they can act out or deal with the issue that they had when they were in school and they had a teacher they didn't get on with and they really envied the position the teacher had, basically. Because that's what it all boils down to. If we're talking about something like supernaturalism or whatever, then there is no hard and fast facts anywhere. I mean, full stop, anywhere. Alright, you say there, I just don't want to be played by an entity I can't get rid of. Well, there may well be people in your local Wiccan or pagan cultures who will talk as if these things have a hard and fast objective reality and are just as real as my bottle of nicotine liquid here, or just as real as my penknife here, and just as solid and can do as much damage, when in fact that is totally unproven. Alright, what my personal experience has demonstrated to me is that there are some strange experiences which occur. We can't say anything about them because all we can say is that they happen. We can try and get some kind of greater experience of them, because obviously it's natural. If it happens, it's natural. Okay, anything that happens is natural because we're in a natural universe, therefore it's part of nature. But there hasn't been any real hard and fast studies of it. I mean, if you think about it, a long, long, long time ago, people had very dogmatic religious interpretations about disease. But now we know there's a germ theory. Okay, the Catholic Church had to be, persuaded, thanks to Louis Pasteur and other great people, all right, that spontaneous generation probably wasn't the best explanation for why things went rancid, you know what I mean? But the way that we are now, the way I see it, as far as anything to do with supernaturalism is concerned, or occultism, all that kind of metaphysical weird stuff, is that we are culturally and intellectually in the same stage that the human race was, the whole human race was, about disease prior to the coming of Louis Pasteur. Okay, Louis Pasteur came, he managed to change the way the whole world works, proved it in front of the Pope, Vatican, or whatever the fuck it was, okay, with his wonderful swan-necked flasks, and therefore changed the understanding of the world. Now in the supernaturalist world, or pagan world, Wiccan world these days, there's people who have the same kind of intellectual reasoning as the people had, and as the church had, way, way back in the day of pre-Louis Pasteur, when dealing with all of these weird, strange experiences. Okay, that's the problem. So what people will try and force into you, okay, through any means possible, whether it's fear and terror of their concept of God, or whether it's any other form of brainwashing, okay, very inappropriate, so the kind of stuff the atheists disapprove of, okay, you're going to get that stuff from Wiccans, you're going to get that stuff from pagans, you're going to get that stuff from people in the New Age movement, you're going to get that stuff from people involved in chaos magic, because the vast majority of people who speak the loudest have got the smallest brains, usually, okay? And the people who are more passionate have got the most badly thought out or badly reasoned argument. So the ones who are going to bully you are just going to fill you full of horse shit, really. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this blog, because I'm trying to help people get out of the stupid way of thinking which has held back anyone who is involved in these communities. Alright, this is a very serious issue in my opinion. And the behavior of people involved in the New Age movement has got to be fucking changed. And right now you're someone who is dealing with these people on a face-to-face level. I don't think the people are trustworthy, because people themselves, full stop, have issues. Okay, including myself, I'm human as well, I'm a person too, alright? But just be sodding careful. Because you know, the people you're dealing with are going to tell you that, yes, there is an entity you can't get rid of. If you buy ritual tools, you've got to make sure it has the right patterns on it that only they can tell you is the right patterns or whatever. They will fill you full of all kinds of negative stuff, which is basically not going to really help you to explore in an intellectual and scientific manner. All right, using your reasoning and your education, which you got from middle school science and onwards, all right, to apply that to the strange experiences which you're trying to have, because they are, you know, these people are assholes. There's sickness there, real sickness. All right, and the simplicity of their explanations can make it seem like results are hard and fast or reliable or just can be done straight away without any problems. But the fact of the matter is, nothing is like that. Okay, nothing in this world is like that. That's why you have to have doubts of everything they say. I mean, by all means, build up a number of traditions and all the rest of it. Remember, of course, that a lot of the things you'll see in Wicca actually comes from Freemasonry, that was actually, a Christian culture. So basically, in some respect, you're still practicing a Judeo-Christian religion, whether you like it or not. Okay, if you're involved in Wicca, so you might as well become a non-denominational deist. All right, who's got an earth connection. Which is basically what I am. I mean, the church I go to is Franciscan, which is all very nature orientated. We've got images of nature all around the beams of the church itself, or it's part of the story of the life of St. Francis, because everything is very nature orientated. So is there really in practice any difference between me as a confirmed baptized Christian, who's a Franciscan deist spiritualist, and yourself as a practicing Wiccan? Probably not, apart from the fact that I'm not dogmatic, and I do have doubt, and I think the doubt is important. There was a deist website I read a while ago that said the definition of deism is to have doubt, or deist doubt, and that was more or less what the definition was. And I like that. I think that being a part of a culture that allows you to have some doubts is important. But I'm concerned that you're probably not in the company of people who encourage a doubting attitude, because they want you to be someone who can then go out and charismatically evangelize. They won't tell you this, because they'll say, oh no, evangelism is wrong, we believe evangelism is wrong, or whatever. But they want to turn you into someone who will then become, your first degree, second degree, and third degree Wiccan, and then set up another coven and then help the culture to grow. That's probably what the mentality is. I could be wrong in saying that, okay? I'm perfectly willing to admit that. But I'm merely talking from personal experience, and also the fact that I've developed a lot of skepticism and a lot of disrespect from people who say that there are hard and fast truths, okay? I also disrespect anti-theists who use very dogmatic ideas when they're criticizing religion. Okay, I've got a great deal of disrespect for them, just so I've got a great deal of disrespect for fundamentalist, creationist, right-wing, lunatic, scumbag who want to go around telling everyone that they can't masturbate, or whatever the fuck it is that's going on inside their pathetic little stupid minds. Why don't they just have like one commandment saying thou shalt be well socially integrated? I mean, that would be really cool, wouldn't it? But they don't. And of course, all religious individuals are to a certain extent dominated by some kind of political ideology. And in my particular case, I would say that I'm influenced by liberalism, and I'm influenced by modernism. Okay, different people influenced by different things, and I think that there is a lot of screwed up people involved in the New Age movement. So this is why I would try and say to you, be careful of the people. Do whatever occult experiments you want, but some people will try and convince you that when you have a bad experience, it's because, oh, you know, you've got an evil demon there and only I can remove it through either taking your money or taking up your time or culting you up or turning you into one of my little minions and all that kind of bullshit. Because you're in the world of the sick fucker, okay? You are seriously in the world of the sick fucker. This is why I'm not, you know, face to face in the company of pagans, in the company of Wiccans, in the company of fundamentalist extremists. I've made sure, you know, everything around me is liberal and will permit me to think what I want to think. And if someone disagrees with me, then basically they can just like fuck off. And if someone's going to try and cult me up, then I'll try and make sure they're taken out of my community one way or another. You know, I'm that strong in protecting liberal ideas and freedom of thought. But a lot of people aren't, if you get my drift. Okay? So anyway, those are my points of view.